And for the largest school district in North Alabama, Huntsville City Schools, we're joined by School Board President Elisa Ferrell now. Thanks for joining us tonight.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
We appreciate it. Ms. Ferrell, now these are uncertain times. School districts and parents all around the country are sailing these uncharted waters together. Let me just start with this simple question. As we sit here today, we're a month to the day from Huntsville City Schools reopening. Are you confident that parents can rest at ease sending their children to a Huntsville City School knowing they are in a safe and healthy environment?
We've gone to great lengths to make sure we clean classrooms, that we not only just clean them, but we also sanitize them with germicides. We are planning on social distancing. We're planning on social distancing on buses. We're putting all those plans in place. We haven't made a concrete decision yet as to whether or not we're going back because as the mayor and the Madison County Health Department have said, we need to watch those numbers. So we're watching the numbers with the CDC, the Alabama Department of Public Health, and here locally in Madison County as we make that decision.
Yeah, you have students in the school system, or have. You're a mom yourself, so would you have no issues sending your children back in a month?
I am sending one back to Tuscaloosa to go for his junior year at Alabama and another one to UAH for his freshman year. My daughter's starting at UAB for her doctoral program, and my oldest son is finishing up his master's. So all of mine are going to a collegiate setting, except for one, and I'm comfortable with them being there because I know that they're wise and that they know the precautions they need to take, and we are teaching our students in Huntsville City Schools those precautions, and some of them we are mandating, like face coverings.
Now we're going to talk about face coverings in a few moments, and that's well and good for adult students going off to college,
Right.
But it's going to be a lot tougher to mandate these sanitation advisories with younger children and social distancing. I want to get to that in just a moment, but first of all, what is the holdup with the state school board? Why have they put off until next week, just 2 or 3 weeks before some school districts open, to release their plan? And I know a lot of districts are waiting on that.
Right. Well, my understanding is they've already released their plan to restart. However, the Nurses Association and some other people have asked them to revisit that. Part of that is not all the schools in Alabama have a nurse on campus. In Huntsville City Schools, we spend just under $2.3 million on our nurses. The state only reimburses us for nurses if there's a student with a mandated need. Things like a heart pump, a ventilator, the need for oxygen, seizures that require rescue medication, or an injectable, a situation where they need injections on campus, with the exception of an EpiPen. So Huntsville doesn't qualify for nurses in all our schools, but we're using local funding to cover the rest of them because we know how important that is. And not all the systems in Alabama have the funding to do that, so I think that's part of the motivation to see whether or not there's adequate funding to get nurses in all schools.
So let me ask you this. What happens when a student or a teacher or an administrator tests positive for coronavirus this upcoming school year?
First of all, the principal will send out a Schoolcast call to everyone in that school. So we need to and Schoolcast is our notification system. We need to make sure every parent has accurate information in iNow, our management system, so that we know how to contact them with that vital information. And Thursday night in our board meeting, Ms. Finley was asked this question, and she said, if we have a student or staff member test positive, more than likely we will close that school for 14 days. And if a student or a staff member tests positive, they need to have a positive test in order to come back on campus. Basically a note from the doctor saying they're all better.
That's going to put an awful burden on some parents. I mean, if they have to suddenly homeschool or go to a virtual learning program just at the drop of a hat for 14 days.
Right. That is the challenge with COVID, is it is erratic and unpredictable. And as a result, we're all in that same situation where we never quite know what's going to happen, and it's regrettable, but it is something that is out of our control.
Well, so walk us through what a typical day for a student whose parents decide to send them back to a traditional classroom would look like. Let's start just with the bus ride to school. What is the plan right now for transportation?
Well, our students that ride buses have to be a certain distance away from their school depending on their age. The younger the child, the closer they can be into the school to get transportation. So not all of our students ride on a bus. We do run about 150 plus bus routes, And those buses are cleaned daily. There's hand sanitizer when the students get on the bus. We are asking students that are not in the same family to sit in different seats. Students in the same family, brother and sister, can sit together. So we've put a plan in place to be as safe and as socially distant as possible.
What kind of responsibility does the bus driver have in ensuring that these rules are followed?
The same that they would always have in ensuring all the other rules we have on the bus are followed with good discipline and all of that, because they are in a moving vehicle with children on it, so we need to make sure everyone does obey the rules and is safe.
So take us now into the school itself, into the classrooms, specifically elementary school students. What are those classrooms going to look like? Well, we've had our principals go into the classrooms and measure to see how many chairs they can get in and keep the kids socially distant. They will be hand sanitizing frequently. Some teachers have talked about putting a hand stamp on a young child's hand, and before they move on to the next lesson, everyone has to wash their hand until the stamp comes off so they know that they've washed it adequately. A good rule of thumb is singing the birthday song twice, and that's 20 seconds. So they're thinking about practical ways to help young children do that. We will be hand sanitizing. They will be wearing face coverings. If anyone seems to look like they're ill or tells the teacher they're feeling bad, we will be sending them to the nurse. Our nurses will have 2 separate waiting areas, one for well children that might need a daily medication while they're at school, and one for children who are not feeling well, so that we can keep those children separate, and if there is a COVID situation, we're not spreading it. Will there be social distancing in the classroom?
As much as we can, yes.
As much as you can. Yeah.
I'm not sure if we'll be able to get a full 6 feet between every child, but we're going to do as much as we can.
I understand, and I'm sure that the number of parents who are going to be choosing the virtual option would certainly help. Right now, 1 out of 5 students won't be there. Are you hoping that number goes up?
We're going to provide a high quality education, whether it is through the virtual academy or in the classroom. We need parents to decide what's best for their children, and what's best for their children is what's best for us.
What about after school programs? What's been decided with Huntsville City Schools on that front?
We have put that program out to bid, and right now we're waiting for the bid process to complete, and that should be coming to the board before school starts. I don't know the exact details right now on that, but we have put it out for bid.
Will masks be mandatory? Now, given the governor's new order, will masks be mandatory in the school, in the classroom?
Yes, we will require face coverings in the classroom, and I know that some people have been concerned about our little kids, our kindergartners, our first graders. Parents have taught them how to tie their shoes, they've toilet trained them, how to wash their hands, how to brush their teeth, how to button their shirts. If they could start right now to teach the children how vitally important it is that they wear a mask, it will keep their child and the other children safe. And we understand some of our children will have sensory issues, and they might need to do an alternative form like a face shield. Other children are hearing impaired, and they have a teacher who is not just signing, but they're also lip reading, and so there will need to be face shields there. And then our English learners will also probably need to wear face shields. Our staff has tried to think of every eventuality, every challenge, and try and come up with a solution for that. And we appreciate people who are sending us questions, because they're showing us other questions that we might not have thought of. Sure. So we would like people to continue to do that through our Contact Us portal.
All right, wow, you got a lot on your plate. We have a lot more to get to tonight, including some questions from you at home. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Way 31 News at 6.
Coverage you can count on. You're watching Way 31 News with Dan Shaver, Naja Sherman, Chief Meteorologist